Excellent video as ever there from Dash. I'm just envious of the guy. He does the coolest stuff, and I'm even wearing a t-shirt with him on it. There we go. What more can I do? I just wanted to talk a bit about something that he alludes to or has in his video, which is the whistling bullets that the slingers would use or loose. And these caused a sort of mental degradation in the enemy because they made a sound. They weren't necessarily going to hit you. And if they did hit you because they got that hole, there isn't as much mass. Yeah, not going to cause as much damage. But more importantly, what they're going to do is they're going to erode your mental state. If you're under a barrage of these for a while, it's going to start to really spook you out. And that was a really important thing in antiquity. Doesn't often get commented on, but there's lots of pre-battle rituals and things that go on in antiquity that completely respect the fact that there was a kind of psychological element to warfare that was well understood, and that there were attempts within it to either support your side or degrade the opposition. And they did this in a number of ways. And then there's a really interesting one which involves the Spartans. So we often hear about the Spartans, how great they were at warfare, blah, blah, blah. Not so because they could do sit-ups, not so because individually they were great fighters, but as a collective unit they were very effective. There's a number of reasons for this. They had a particular officer set up, which meant that the way that they deployed could be very, very good. They could do different things, but ultimately they were drilled very well. And that's really important in the phalanx. And the way that you get that across to the enemy, and the thing that used to kind of spook the enemy out if they came across the Spartans, was the fact that the Spartans could march in step. If you're in a phalanx and you can see the other guys and they're all marching perfectly in step, you know that they're well disciplined. You know that they can do all the things they need to do to make your life very, very difficult. And perhaps that, even in the first moments of engagement, got in here. And so perhaps you were the side that broke early because you knew they weren't. They were that well drilled. All of this from before you've actually done anything with them. Now, there's a really interesting way this is manifested, and perhaps I should have started with this, because you know about Ares, the Greek god of war. He has two sons, Phobos and Deimos, or Demos, apologies for pronunciation. Phobos, well, you might think, what's his associations? Is it like being really good with a spear or the shield? But it's not. It's mental associations, because he's the god of fear, of panic. And Demos, or Deimos, is the god of terror and dread. So when he brings his sons with him to the battlefield, which he does in the Iliad, Homer records it, and Hesiod also records it in the Theogony as his sons, he's doing so, and he's bringing mental manifestations of the sort of battle conditions. He's not bringing, I've got the strongest sons, I'm all about might, I'm all about strength, my spear throw is the best, I can defend myself the best. It's nothing to do with that. It's all about the mental context of warfare, because both sons could draw serious damage without any weapons being used. And it's summed up brilliantly in a quote that comes from Hesiod in his Theogony. He talks about the two sons as being terrible gods who can drive disorder in the enemy, in numbing war. And the idea being these close ranks would all of a sudden, that's it, once they reached a particular situation mentally, they'd break and run. And at that point, the battle's over. That's it, it's gone. And so Ares was that condition. He could induce that condition with the enemy. So it wasn't a physical one. It wasn't how good he was with arms. It was how good Ares was in bringing about that mental degradation with the enemy. Anyway, cheerier stuff next time, I hope. And thanks again to Dash for more really cool stuff. And thanks to Arnie as well.